Keepers nervous, strikers, they'll deliver. Crowd roars erupted, you can feel the quake. 80,000 voices.
Chelsea fans, in today's video, we'll talk about the planned protest by some section of Chelsea fans, Enzo Maresca, and Egbali, Clearlake capital. So let's go straight into it. First off, every Chelsea fan has the right to be upset at the way the club has gone in terms of some of the recruitment, not all of it, because some of it very, very good for the future, but some of the recruitment that would have helped Chelsea move, quicker, compete for titles, compete for top four with more comfort, compete for the Carabao Cup, compete for Champions League spots, with more comfort, having a top striker like a Victor Osimhen, for instance, having an experienced player in the midfield, or even recalling Leslie Gochuku or Andre Santos or both ever since Lavia, was out injured. But all those things happened, and even maybe signing a very good goalkeeper, at least a decent and serviceable goalkeeper, because Sanchez has shown himself to be error prone, and Philip Jorgensen hasn't been that much better apart from with the ball at his feet. So you can get why people should be upset about that, because Chelsea should be competing for top honors, really. So, but however, for me, the protesting thing, if you want to protest, that's fine. You have the right to protest. It's your right. Go ahead and protest, but keep it within the remits of the law. Don't break any laws because you want to protest the owners of Chelsea Football Club. Protest within the remits of the law. Let your voices be heard, and make sure you're doing it because you want to do it. Because I've seen some people who don't live in the UK at the minute, telling other people to go on and protest. So make sure it's something that you want to do. No one is forcing you, no one is cajoling you, no one is pulling wool over your eyes and making you go out to protest. Make sure that's what you want to do. So on that protest topic, that's my take on it. Now, talking about, Clearlake Capital. Now, for me, I watched the video like many people watch as well. I think some clips of it were on X and some other platforms where Feliciano and Egbali are basically talking about long-term strategy, long-term plan, cutting cost, by signing young players that will be good in the future, that, can be moved between club networks, and, not signing players that you're paying over the top wages for. And now, I wanted to look at this from, a cold, soulless business point of view. Because sometimes the way to speak to people or the way to appreciate people or understand people is to come from their own perspective, not just yours. Because as a fan, I want Chelsea to go out every season, get a Victor Osimhen ×2, get, the next Maradona regen that's prime and ready to go, get the next Peter Cech regen that's ready to go immediately to help Chelsea win the quadruple. That's what I want as a Chelsea fan, and I'm sure other Chelsea fans want the same thing as well. And whichever club you support, I'm sure you want similar for your club. But let's look at it from the perspective. You say you want to run as a business, you want to increase profits, you want to increase the commercial value. But one thing people fail to understand, and I think Egbali and Feliciano, coming from American sports, don't quite get it. Now, the best way to boost your brand, to make your brand really, really known in football, in real football, in football outside the US, is by finishing as high up as possible in the domestic league you're playing in. That's one. So either you win the title, you finish second, you finish third. Be in the Champions League, because that increases the caliber of sponsors you get, that increases the funding that you get from the sponsors, that increases the eyeballs you get on this on the team, and that also, it makes it easier when you're negotiating to get not just the super mega talents like your Victor Osimhen, for instance, but as well those young emerging talent with superstar potential the 19-year-old wonder kid, 18-year-old wonder kid. So if it turns up that it's a competition between you and Real Madrid, for instance, for the next 19-year-old wonder kid from Nigeria or the next 18-year-old wonder kid from Brazil, the kid can look at the club and say, okay, yeah, I think this club is in the Champions League. They can offer me everything. But once you get into that competition with a club like Real Madrid and you're not in the Champions League, it then becomes very difficult for you to negotiate. Real Madrid can say we can offer you times two of the salaries, or even at least we can offer you what Chelsea is offering you, but they can offer you Champions League football. And with that, that's done. So even in regular everyday business, you get people who you pay big bucks to, top dollar to, top pounds to, top naira to, you know, because of what they bring, the value they bring, how they can push that organization to higher heights. Whilst you have other employees in the company that you don't pay as much, because not because what they do is not important, but because they don't bring in as much positive notoriety as the latter. They don't bring in as much investment, they don't bring in as much revenue, income, how I want to call it, as the latter. So the same thing applies in football. You can't just say, oh, we're going to pay everybody £80,000 and that's it. Now, for everyday folk, £80,000, £90,000, £100,000 is crazy money. But in the world of football, in that space where you want to compete and supposedly be one of the big clubs, £80,000, £90,000 probably will get you a toothbrush and maybe some travel size toothpaste. It won't get you top guys. It won't get you top guys that can make you win, that can push you to the title. You can make you a decent team. You can get guys that can make you a decent team if you scout really well, get you top, maybe at the bottom of the top four, top six, qualify for Europa League and stuff like that. But to get to Premier League title, to win the Champions League, you may not be able to do that. The thing with the long-term plan that they keep talking about is you could also sign these players. You could sign these players, and whilst they're improving and growing under the club, a club with ready to go now ambition could come when they're maybe in their 21, 22 and say, come, I want to sign you. And the player would look at this club and say, oh, this club is already ready to win at this minute. I'm going to go. That's what used to happen to Arsenal. Young talent comes and comes. Well, when it gets to the point of winning, Real Madrid will come, yank the player off them. Even at then, Chelsea would come, take an Ashley Cole off of Arsenal, because Chelsea at that point was ready to win at that point. So there's no guarantee that these players would stay for 10 years. So even if you wanted to say, okay, 200 million, Real Madrid, for instance, would pay that money, no object. PSG would pay that money, no object. So those are things you have to take into consideration. You want to run as a cold, heartless business that wants to make a lot of money, profit for your shareholders, your investors. You have to be winning. You have to be finishing in the top four. You have to be in the Champions League. And you need to get top players, top level players, not just players who are old and experienced, but top level players. So that's my opinion on the whole long-term planning, 10-year project of Clearlake and the reasoning they give behind it. Now, I want to speak about Enzo Maresca. I know people want to. You have two factions right now. You have people that completely blame Clearlake. You have people that completely blame Enzo Maresca. But two things can be true. Clearlake and the sporting directors, it's possible that they have, spoiled the transfer. They have failed in their transfer strategy, especially the January, where they weaken the team as opposed to strengthening the team. That can be true. And that has made the job of Enzo Maresca even harder going into the rest of the season. True. But it could also be true that Enzo Maresca hasn't done the utmost. He hasn't done the utmost with this team he's had. It can also be true that Enzo Maresca has shown lack of dynamism when it comes to how he's used the players. For instance, the way he used the fullbacks. Look at Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto under Pochettino was going up and down, pace, He was a superb two-way player, two-way fullback, defend 1v1s very well, go on support the attack, create width, put balls into the box, create assist. But now the kid is scared of even overlapping, doing something that should come naturally to him, because Enzo Maresca has sort of rammed it into his brain that my fullbacks don't overlap. You have to stay here. And that's what you get with young players. Young player, okay, this is what the boss has said to me, I won't move. But sometimes experienced players will just say, whatever, that's your business. I'm going to play because I want to win. But the young player will say, okay, this is what the boss has said. I must stick to it, and this is how I'll set myself up. This is how I'll play. Because I've seen games where, you know, Malo Gusto has sort of made a mistake to overlap and then has fallen back. So this is just an example of how Enzo Maresca has shown lack of dynamism and has refused to adapt in games. Football, like I said in the previous video, is not all about you per se as a team. It's not all about you. You know, the other team is not there to bow down to you and say, okay, the way you're playing, oh, we must bow down. You want to invert your fullbacks. Yeah, come scores 300 goals. No, the other team would respond to you. The other team would, come up with a style to frustrate you. The other team will come up with a style to try to hurt you as well, like what Brighton did. Ball over the top, your high line, go. So Enzo Maresca hasn't used this team properly. And one thing he's also done, he's sort of alienated players. João Felix, I don't think he planned to leave Chelsea when he signed. But Enzo Maresca, for whatever reason, refused to play him. And we all know this. One of the key ways managers frustrate players is, 1, play them out of position. 2, play them with 2-3 minutes to go on the clock. Bring them on ridiculous time. He's sucked out the confidence of, Christopher Nkunku. Nkunku was Chelsea's best player in the preseason. But now, he's just squeezed out every ounce of confidence from Nkunku. Nkunku looks soulless on the pitch. He'll bring him on 5 minutes to go. He'll bring him on 1 minute to go. A player of Nkunku's caliber. If you're looking for experience, he's one of the most experienced players in the Chelsea squad. But what happened? He was being used like, a youngster coming from the academy trying to get a couple of minutes. So he shot his confidence. And you're seeing that high line isn't working. Even Man City, a side that likes to pass out from the back, played up to 4 or 5 long balls before they actually got their goal, got their equalizing goal and their go-ahead goals. So Enzo Maresca himself hasn't shown dynamism. He needs to be dynamic. For me, I don't get this thing where supposed modern style managers come up with this idea of my style of football. This is how I want to play. No matter what the opposition does, I'm going to play this way. I'm going to force that pass through the eye of the needle in the midfield, even if the opposition has like 3 luxury buses packed in front of their 18-yard box. I'm going to still force that ball through the middle. I'm not going to offer any help to my wingers via my fullbacks, even if they're tripled up on, they're doubled up on. That's where I'm going to play. That means you don't want to win. Coaches like Ancelotti were flexible. They had their style. They were flexible. Coaches like Mourinho, he had his style. He was flexible. Coaches like Ferguson, he had his style, how he wanted to play. He was flexible. And whatever you think about these coaches personally, you would agree that they are all winners. Real Madrid versus Man City in the Champions League fixture. Real Madrid were playing against, Man City trying to pass it from the back, tiki-taka. But Ancelotti probably went in second half and saw, this is not happening. Mbappe, you're faster than the entire Man City defense. Okay, put the ball, long ball behind them, and let's see what they can do. And we know how that game ended, 3-2 in favor of Real Madrid. So, not just Enzo Maresca, but modern day coaches have to learn that it's not just your own philosophy, your own style of play. You must look to play to win. You must look to adapt, to tackle what the opposition is doing to win. So with this, I've come to the end of today's video. Hope to know what your opinions are in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel, click notification bell so you're notified when I go live on the channel or post a pre-recorded video like this one. So at the minute, I would like to say, do have a splendid rest of your day. Stay well and stay blessed.